10-year-old Evan Giles is ready to welcome Dad home. So are his younger sisters, Ava and Layla.
We're gonna watch a movie with Daddy, and we're gonna tell him that we were on the radio.
In the last 3 months, Dad has been deployed on the USS Fort Worth, and dealing with his absence has been tough.
When they miss him. I mean, I miss him so much, but when they miss him and they just want Dad home.
And while Dad was hundreds of miles away at sea, his presence was still very much felt at home.
We actually got what was called Flat Daddy, and it's a life-size poster.
It's really cool, and sometimes, like, when I'll be walking down the stairs, I'll be like, wait, is Dad home? But then I'll realize, oh, it's just the picture.
His wife, Jessica Giles, says the life-size poster was delivered to them free of charge after she sent an email explaining their story. The USS Fort Worth, with a small crew of 40, now calls San Diego home. It was commissioned in Galveston, Texas in September. Now, one of the coolest things about this ship is that it's the third of its kind. It's a littoral combat ship, meaning it can actually stand on waters as shallow as 20 feet and reach up to 52 miles an hour in about a minute and a half. As family and friends reunited, we tried to hunt down the Giles family. We were curious to see Dad in real life, as I'm sure the kids were too. But we were too late, and they too quick. No doubt hurrying home, anxious to make up for lost time. At Naval Base San Diego, I'm Christina Lay for UTTV.
And there were some real older couples dancing around us. And he started to cry. And he said, "That's going to be us, right?" And I said, "Yeah, it's going to be us."
Sandy Rayborn met her husband in her 20s.
I think I've seen my husband cry about 5 times, and I've been with him for 20 years. And so that's when I knew I had to fight.
And when she turned 35, the vow to be there in sickness and in health tested just that.
They said, "Yeah, it doesn't look good." And then they did some more tests, and then we went in and they said, "You're stage 3A.
They also told her she would need 8 rounds of chemo and 48 rounds of radiation. Sandy lost her hair and eventually removed one of her breasts.
But I gained everything spiritually and mentally, and, you know, the love that was around me.
She attributes much of her healing and support from Susan G. Komen. It has impacted her life so much, she is now working for the local affiliate.
I was really blessed to be able to get breast cancer in this time frame in the world because there was so much support and so much help. Komen helped me. The drugs I took saved my life, and they were directly discovered by Komen grants.
However, this fiscal year has been tough. Area affiliates are still reeling from the effects since the backlash against Susan G. Komen and its relationship to Planned Parenthood back in February.
Right now, we're about 30% down in signups, and we're about 30% down in fundraising. And that's what it's been trending all along.
Let's break that down. Last year, $1.2 million was donated, and today they're down 30%. That's $360,000 lost.
That means places like Breast Cancer Solutions, who help women pay their mortgage when they have cancer and can't go to work. Money runs out faster.
This means a little over 11,000 women aren't getting the breast cancer education they need, and more than 2,100 diagnostic services won't be provided, like mammograms, MRIs, and biopsies.
And know that San Diego, we are partners with Planned Parenthood. We support each other here in San Diego. We have a great relationship with them.
At this time, Planned Parenthood is not registered with a local Komen affiliate, but both organizations share the same goal.
We're helping women, they're helping women.
For UTTV, I'm Christina Lay.
If I was single and sexually active, I would certainly want to have my Pap every year.
She's referring to cervical cancer screenings which take place during a woman's Pap smear.
I'm going to do my own personal research to make sure that I'm informed the next time.
It won't affect me, I think, unless, something comes up.
New guidelines suggest annual Pap smears are no longer needed, so long as previous Paps show up normal. Dr. Georgia Sadler from the Moores Cancer Center at the University of California, San Diego, says the recommendations are due to a breakthrough.
We now have enough information for multiple factors to look for, not just the end product, the cancer itself. We can get in at the beginning of the game, and we can change the game.
I explained to Dr. Sadler many were concerned waiting 3 to 5 years to get checked out because cervical cancer could form at any time, right? True, but here's the breakdown.
So now instead of looking for the cervical cancer as the cells are mutating and becoming abnormal or actually cancerous, we can look at women and find out if they have HPV to start with.
Essentially, if you get your pap smear done and cleared of any abnormalities, it means you don't have the HPV virus.
3 to 5 years is a very reasonable window to still catch that cancer in the early enough stage where it's still localized in one little section of the cervix and remove it.
Bottom line,
you know your body better than anybody else. If you feel like something's not right, don't wait. Go see your doctor.
for UTTV, I'm Christina Lay. How long have you been working here?
Since 2003.
Okay, and have you ever seen anything like this?
No. No, this is a first.
Denny Knox has worked at the Ocean Beach Main Street Association for 9 years.
Yeah, by far the most interesting object that's been dropped off.
It's an unsolved mystery involving some very personal belongings.
Another employee here, Liz Green, she got a call from her dad. He was sitting out in his car here, and she came out and he handed her this box and said, maybe you guys can figure out who this belongs to. Somebody must have been cleaning out their car and left this behind 6 months ago.
That's right, you heard her. The cremated remains of Henry Lefebvre were lost and found at the O.B. Suds car wash in Ocean Beach.
And of course he thought somebody was going to come pick it up, but they never did. And so he called the police and they said if they had time they'd swing by and pick it up. They never did. And so he finally decided yesterday to drop it off.
I actually spoke with the owner of O.B. Suds and he didn't want to be on camera, but he was telling me he finds a lot of weird things all the time, like prosthetic limbs, dentures, or even jewelry. But most of the time people come back to retrieve them. For the cremated remains, no such luck. Since the O.B. Main Street Association began spreading the word on Facebook and Twitter, the county reached out to Knox.
And she goes, I can find that dude.
And offered their help.
So she found out that this man, Henry, was born in 1901 in Arizona. It also said that he died April 30th, 1995.
A funeral director here at the Fort Rosecrans Cemetery says the next step is to send the remains over to the medical examiner's office where it should be identified. And then from there it gets sent over to the county where they'll do a full investigation to find the next of kin.
So here lies Henry. And if anybody knows Henry, we have most of him. So
In Ocean Beach, I'm Christina Lay for UTTV.
Kind of.
It is heavy. That's like
Yeah,
as heavy
it's
as a
like
bowling ball. How many pounds do you think?
I don't know.